Good morning. My name is Lance. I am the North Dakota Carnivore, and today is Sunday, so that means it's the weekend meeting. How's everybody doing today? I know today here in North Dakota, it's still cold as heck out. Current temperature right now is -1, and the real feel is still a -1. It's a brutally cold morning this morning. But our temperature is supposed to rise today. We are getting up into the lower 30s today. So here in just a little bit, I'm going to be going ice skating outdoors. That's once the temperature goes up a little bit. We have a place downtown that has put up an ice rink. And we're going to go down there and go ice skating for a little bit today. So it's just going to be a pretty nice day just to hang out and do stuff outdoors. Now, if you have followed me at all, you know I'm an actual hockey fan. I used to watch the NFL all the time, and when I did, I was a Bears fan. So it's actually nice to see that the Bears are actually doing really good this year. They're leading the NFC North. They beat the Packers last night in Chicago in overtime. So they're actually doing really well this year. It's amazing to see that. It's nice to see it. They're ahead of the Packers, they're ahead of the Lions, and most importantly, they're ahead of the Vikings. So, got to put that in there. And then my Golden Knights last night in hockey, they got their ass kicked. Terrible game. I watched the first period of that game, and that was all I could handle watching. It was just, their defense sucked. The goalie didn't have a chance with the way that they were playing last night. They ended up losing 6-3. What a terrible game that was. Tried more of the instant coffee this morning. Just not as much grounds in it. So hopefully it's not as bitter. I haven't tried it yet. Oops, still has that bitter taste to it. So I don't think I'll buy it again once I'm finished with this year. It's probably going to take a few months to finish that because it is that bitter. That's just not good. I'm used to a much better quality coffee than what this is. This is not a good quality coffee. But the stuff that I've been drinking has not agreed with me, and that's where the ringing in my ears was coming back. Hasn't come back any more than what it has been the last couple of weeks here, so I'm not going to have any more this year to see if it will come back. But that's just where it is right now. Let me see here. And we're just trying to set this up here. One more click, and there we go. So I ended up extending my sardine fast just a little bit. I screwed up, kind of screwed up. I messed up on my timing, and I didn't plan properly on my sardine fast. It was supposed to be a 72-hour fast, and I completed that 72 hours. One of the guys I was doing the sardine fast with wasn't able to start on the Tuesday when we started the fast. He started on Wednesday, so I decided to do an extra day just to do it with him so he would complete it with somebody. Which put me coming back off the sardine fast on a alternate day fasting day of fasting. And I just decided, well, you know what? If I'm going to do that, I might as well just do one more day of the sardine fast. So I ended up doing 123 and a half hours of a sardine fast instead of 72. So 5 days and 3.5 hours, because that's when I woke up. But it was just one of those rough weeks for my planning because it wasn't proper, and I ended up not doing the fast as I wanted it to. So, but this morning I ended my sardine fast. I ended all that. Today is the odd day on the calendar, so today's the day that I get to eat, and I actually got to enjoy a nice breakfast this morning. Official Vin Kitty, good morning. How are you today? Where are you watching from, and are you on a carnivore diet, or you just channel surfing and saw the live stream? So this morning, like I said, I actually got to be able to eat a good breakfast, and so I had over easy eggs, 4 over easy eggs, 8 pieces of bacon. It was absolutely delicious. You can see in the background. Well, I didn't catch this here when I took that picture. That's pluck. In the background, that's the seasoning I used on this here, and it's the spicy mild pluck, which is really delicious. Venki says, good. I'm doing really good this morning. It's been a really good morning so far. Got to sleep in just a little bit, so that was nice. Hey, good morning, Bride's Biscuit. How are you today? How is your fast going? And how are the results of it so far? Yeah, Vinky, that was delicious. I love over easy eggs. They are one of my favorite ways to have eggs. And then I don't even bring a fork or anything with me. Over easy eggs, I scoop out the runny yolk with the bacon, and then the leftover egg after I'm done with the yolk, I eat with the second piece of bacon. So there's 2 pieces of bacon for every egg on there. Hey, Uncle Willie, good morning. Making bacon. Crispy bacon, correct? That's the way it should be. Here you go, Uncle Willie. That was my breakfast today. I ended my sardine fast officially this morning at 123 and a half hours, and that's what I ended it with. Over easy eggs, bacon, and the eggs had the spicy mild pluck seasoning on it. Now, because I'm a customer of the Carnivore Bar, they sent me an email. Pluck is doing Organinuary, where you eat organ meats for the month of January. And it's a thing that they're looking at, or that they're doing. So I ordered the pluck just to try it, and I'm going to try that for January. I'm going to be adding the pluck into my meals and stuff. It's actually, I was pretty surprised at how tasty this here is, because it's got organ meats in it, but it also has other spices. Yeah, that was actually really good there. It looks much more appealing than this. Since Tuesday, this is basically what I've eaten and what it's looked like, with the addition of, this was in mustard. I also put Frank's Red Hot into this here, like every other one that I did. But this just doesn't look that appealing. It's very nutrient dense for what this is. This is just mashed up sardines, 2 cans of sardines mashed up, and mustard added, or hot sauce added to change the flavor a little bit. And I did that for 5 days. It wasn't that bad. I feel great after that long of a fast for it, and the first time ever doing it. Will I do it again? Oh yeah, I will. It wasn't that bad of a fast. You'd rather water fast? You know, the difference between doing that sardine fast and doing a water fast is, in the water fast, I do get hungry. There are times where the food noise does come back. With the sardine fast, it never came back. I never had that food noise. And I got about the same results. My ketones didn't go up as high on the sardine fast as they do when I water fast, so that is a difference. But it's all right. Bride's Biscuit, it felt good. A little stomach distress, yeah. We've upped my coffee over the fast. They also added some MCT oil. I see it can help with GLP-1, satiety, ketones, but it does activate metabolism. Yeah. I've actually tried that with the sardine fast too. I did add some MCT oil to it. I picked up the Dr. Boz MCT oil that has the C8 and C10 oils in it. I don't know that it did anything for me. I shoved down a sardine fast without it first and then done one with it. Then I know. Next time, just might stick the salt in coffee and try to use more water instead. When I do the water fast, I tend to only drink water, not coffee, and then I don't add anything to it except for the raw element. So no flavored electrolytes or anything like that, but I have to have at least one electrolyte a day, or by day 6, by day 4, I can start feeling it if I don't add an electrolyte. If I skip it on day 4, 5, or 6, then I end up stopping and having to break my fast. Yeah, the C8, C10, C12 is long chain, correct. So you do have to pay attention to what type of MCT oil it is. Hey, good morning, Carnivore Helix. How are you doing today? It's nice to see you here. Bride's Biscuit also says hello. But, doing these fasts like this here, it's amazing what it does for the body. So I ended up this morning at the same weight, still 213 pounds. I didn't lose any extra weight on this year. I did drink a lot more water yesterday than I had been, so I'm probably retaining a little bit extra water. It hasn't come out yet. And I'm not waiting until it comes out before I weigh myself. I weigh myself first thing in the morning when I get up after I go to the bathroom, and I am where I am. It was 213.6, so nothing I can do about that. I'm not going to go any longer to try to lose any more weight. It's just not what this is about. So I do want to lose the weight, but I'm not, trying to do any extra to make it happen. I want it to happen as it does and let it come off naturally. The carnivore diet, when I first started, I was not doing it for weight loss. I was doing it to heal my body and to come off of blood pressure medications. And that's what I did. Within the first 6 weeks, I came off of 5 blood pressure medicines, which is unbelievable. And I did not expect it to happen that quick. But the weight loss that came with it was tremendous. So I ended up stopping my weight loss. When I got close to that 80-pound mark, I started to get nervous. So I stopped my weight loss. And I did that for quite a few months where I just maintained the weight. I ended up losing 111 pounds or something like that. And then when my weight had stopped, and I just kind of stayed there. I'm down to 122 pounds altogether weight loss on the carnivore diet. So I'm back to losing the weight slowly, like I want to lose it, not 15 to 20 pounds a month. Risby says weight was never his primary goal. Even satisfied around 1 to 2 pounds a month. During this fast, it seems he lost 2 pounds. Well, we'll see if it sticks. Yeah. Sometimes that weight doesn't stick. You'll have a rebound of the weight. But generally that comes right back off again within a couple of days after you start eating again. At least it has for me. But a lot of people end up having that rebound weight, and they'll gain back a portion or all of the weight that they've lost on a water fast. It all depends upon how you refeed. If you refeed and you eat way more calories than what you normally would, or way more food than what you normally would on your refeed, you're going to tend to gain that back. I do follow a guy named Jerome. on YouTube, and his YouTube channel is Finally Fasting. And he doesn't do a carnivore diet. He does fasting, and that's how he's lost his weight. And he's lost a tremendous amount of weight. So he's got the experience. He's been doing it for over 2 years, and I've been watching him and learning from him too about on fast. So he's got a lot of experience on it. Bryce beats it. He's off 3 blood pressure meds under carnivore. Healing has always been the primary goal. Weight loss this year has been 72 pounds. Goal for next year is 28. So goal of 100 pounds over 2 years, and that's a good goal. And that's completely doable on this way of eating. You just have to hit your right macros for the fat and protein ratios. Eat until you're full if you have that signal. If you don't, then track everything closely and don't overeat, because you can overeat on this way of eating too. Yeah, weight loss was never the goal, Carnivore Helix, because I didn't ever think I could lose weight that I put on with the meat. Then all just fell off this year. Yeah, it's amazing what happens when you actually eat properly, and watching the weight come off and losing this weight is just so nice. So for me right now, like when I started the carnivore diet, the pants I was wearing were a size 48. Today I'm wearing a size 32. And after doing that 5-day sardine fast, these are actually pretty loose on me right now, which is just crazy. Then all this weight just fell off. Not put on with meat. So sorry, I didn't think I could lose while eating meat. Yep. And who would have thought that eating meat, because when I started doing the diet, I did it for healing, because that's what I'd seen a lot of the information on, was how this heals the body. And I did it just for the healing aspect of it. And then the weight just kept falling off and falling off and falling off. So for me, it was absolutely amazing. You've been carrying this weight for over 4 decades. You yo-yoed over time. You're happy to lose slowly and to remain consistent. Absolutely. And that's when I slowed my weight loss down this spring. That's was my fear. I did Insanity and the Beachbody workouts for quite a few years. And in doing that, I lost a lot of weight. I thought I was being healthy with the way I was eating, because it was mostly a vegan style diet. And then I ended up having to have heart surgery because my heart went into AFib, and the medication I took stopped working. It was just kind of weird. So, Prize Biscuit, I don't eat much meat. I'm always below those recommendations of 0.8 to 1.2 grams for ideal weight number. You get a version at those levels. Eat what you can. There are other ways to get the fat content that you need, like the MCT oils, dairy, but dairy will slow down weight loss and stuff. Well, good morning, Sat. How are you today? Just scrolling through the channel, seeing what's going on in the lives. Are you eating a carnivore diet or anything like that? And where are you chatting from? But yeah, there's just so many different ways that you can lose weight. And eating this way, it just happens naturally. You know, I worked my butt off. I was doing the Insanity workouts 6 days a week for over 4 years. And when my heart went into AFib, I got put onto medications. It seems like every medication that you have for your heart or for blood pressure, one of the side effects is always weight gain. And for me, they hit me hard every time when the weight gain is involved in it. I just don't know if I'll get used to that bitter coffee like that. And again, drinking hot coffee in a cold room does cause my nose to run. Excuse me for that. Rice Biscuit says, I have lots of stored energy. I'm hoping that's keeping your metabolism hormones working well enough to heal. As long as you're burning fat, your body will continue to heal, which is actually really good. If you keep yourself in ketosis and you get your ketones up, it really helps tremendously. Your body works so much better on ketones than it does on glucose. Yeah, dairy does stall weight loss. Yep, been doing dairy all month. Now I kind of regret it because I know exactly what to do to lose a few pounds for me in such a short time. Usually a sardine fast. Yep, the sardine fast actually worked really nice. So I enjoyed the sardine fast. It was something for me that was different. It wasn't hard to do, and I got through it pretty easily. Hashimoto's likely is a factor, yeah, and that has a lot to do with it too. Hashimoto's is a tough one to get past. You just have to make sure that if you are eating anything other than the meats, that you're not eating goitrogens, so the foods that have that, which will cause the thyroid to swell more and you'll have more issues with it. Losing slow enough to keep sarcopenia not a factor. Yep. You have dairy. You have a dairy problem. Not symptomatic, but consumption. Yeah. Also, contradiction for Hashimoto's. Yep. You've had Hashimoto since you were 7. It's a syndrome thing that you have. Okay. See, then all I know about the Hashimoto's is it does affect your thyroid, or it's from the thyroid. And I don't have that issue, so thank goodness I don't, and nobody in my family does. I do know some coworkers that have issues with that, but it's not a good thing to have. There's a lot of issues that people have with the thyroid, and at least it's not swelling up and you don't have the goiter. That's never a good thing there. But this weekend's, I was just looking on the updates here for YouTube, and this morning I didn't see Dr. Kiltz on, so I was kind of disappointed because I really enjoy my mornings with Dr. Kiltz. He's always so active, so lively. He's just nuts when he's doing this here by himself. And then I looked for Keto Simple for Dustin for his live, and he's not doing his live this morning. And I also looked at for Carnivore Quest, and I don't see that Larry had the live scheduled anymore for today either. So I'm not expecting Larry to be live, which is not good for those of us who enjoy his meetings in the morning, but it's not good for him because that means that he's not doing well. He's still not feeling up to anything. Let's see. Bryce, yes, I don't eat goitrogenic foods except sauerkraut, which is greatly reduced from raw or cooked cabbage. As long as it's properly fermented, that makes a big difference on how it affects your body. So you got diagnosed at 18. It's a syndrome, but I don't know if that's the same as Gen X. Mine is definitely because of well, not how. You make your own sauerkraut, Rise makes it. That's awesome. That's something that I've never really done with foods is fermentation. But If you like sauerkraut, you ever do kimchi? If it's properly spiced and done, oh my goodness. Yeah, I love kimchi. That was one of the foods that I got introduced to in the military. My squad leader's wife was from Korea, and she made homemade kimchi. Um, the first time that they introduced it to us, he made us put a clothespin over our nose so we couldn't smell it. Then he brought it out and made us try it. And once we tried it, we could take off the clothespin so we could smell what it was. Does not smell anything like it tastes. But kimchi is absolutely delicious, especially if it's spiced properly and homemade. So if you do fermentation recipes, you should try the kimchi, because that is actually something that's really good. Oh, damn. I don't know if I'll ever get back to doing that. So Bryce Whiskey Takashi's is related to the 22Q112 Helix. I have no idea, so I'll go with you guys on that one. Uncle Willie, your mom is Korean, so you grew up on homemade kimchi? Homemade kimchi is fabulous. When we had it, she had 3 different flavors of kimchi that she had made, and I actually liked she had one that was really, really spicy. I couldn't hardly eat it, but the other one that was like a medium spice, that was absolutely delicious. And then she had one that wasn't spicy hot. It was just a really unique flavor, and that wasn't bad either. But her medium spice one was absolutely delicious. Brad Smith does make his own kimchi, but you're not supposed to have nightshades. Yeah. Nightshades aren't always the best thing to have. But again, when it's fermented, I know it does stuff. It changes a lot of stuff when the fermentation goes on in it. So it may be something that you can still have in limited quantities as far as being fermented, because I know that does a lot of different stuff on it. Actually, fermented foods aren't that bad. Never had fermented pickles, just regular pickles that are not fermented, but you can buy fermented pickles. I haven't seen any here where I live in the stores anyway, as far as fermented. They're just regular canned pickles. But I'd be interested in trying some. I just would have to find them first. All my grandkids all my granddaughters love pickles. They'll eat the hell out of them. I do had a request the other day from one of my granddaughters for me to make my homemade pickles, because we haven't made them for a couple of years. It's mainly because the one of the dogs that we have now is kind of crazy, so I didn't have the garden like I have been before, because I used to pickle my own cucumbers. Oh, kimchi with pork? Maybe that's what that other one was kimchi with pork. I can't. It was so many years ago. It was back in the late 80s when I had that. Carnivore Helix on your laptop now. Oh, yeah. Not working so well on your phone this morning. Nightshades and dairy are contradicted for autoimmune diseases like Hashimoto's. I don't get symptoms, but that might affect your blood panels. And will likely do an elimination to check for antibodies. Yep. Traditional Korean cuisine is full of soy, seed oil, and sugar. That it is. But that's like everything now. It's so full of the seed oils and the sugars. But I wonder if the way things were made back in the day in Korea, If there's some other way that they were doing theirs so that it didn't have that, because they've had kimchi for forever there, and people have ate it for a long, long time. So, what is bad? Is it really the seed oil, or is it the way it's made? Is it the way it's coming out? Because they've used the soy in the Asian culture for thousands of years, and they don't seem to be having that same issue that we're having nowadays with these same seed oils. So is it the process that's being done? What's being added to it? What's being taken away from it? It's hard to tell. You've seen sweet versions of kimchi with apples? That'd be different. Yeah, all the junk is modern influence in Asian foods. It is, and that's why we've been eating certain ways for a long time, and we didn't have so many issues. And now all of a sudden, we're having tremendous issues. So what's the cause of it? They would ferment the soy. Yep, like in temph. Is it tempeh? Sugar is used for fermentation in the kimchi, right? And having so much sugar in it, to do the fermentation, you have to have so much, but you don't have to have the excess that we're putting into stuff now. So it doesn't take much sugar to do the fermentation. Obesity is going up in the East, places like McDonald's popping up in there. Correct. And it's not just the McDonald's and the wheat and stuff like that. It's the way the dairy is being added into things also, the pasteurized processed milks and dairy. When you're having the raw versions, the unprocessed versions of them, your body treats them differently. It really does. I can actually drink raw milk and I don't have the same effects as I used to get when I drank pasteurized milk. I can drink raw milk and my sinuses don't plug up instantly. If I drink raw milk or unpasteurized, or if I drink pasteurized milk, like a 2% milk, within a few hours, my sinuses are completely plugged. Doesn't sugar convert to alcohol in fermentation like in wine? Maybe not. I never used it. Sugar does, when you have to have I believe you have to have the yeast in it also for the alcohol to turn into alcohol. I think you have to have the yeast in it. If you don't have the yeast, then I don't believe it turns into an alcohol unless it has a natural occurring yeast in the product. I think. I'm not a scientist. I don't know. But I do believe you need to have the yeast in there for the fermentation and the alcohol. There's no raw milk in New York City, although it's legal in the state. You'd like to try it. I found in our local farmers market this summer that one of the vendors there was selling raw milk and raw cream and stuff like that. So I started buying it from them. They've got a couple of kiosks in a couple of stores in town. You can't go into the regular grocery store and buy raw milk. Although our legislature this year did pass a bill making raw milk legal for sale in grocery stores. We just don't have any grocery stores that are doing it. But you can go to a couple different places here in town and you can buy the raw milk from the kiosk that this family has set up. You pay cash or Venmo for the product, and you can walk out of the store with it, which is actually pretty nice. I like it, and I can make ice cream with the heavy cream and milk combination, and if you don't add sugar to it, then it's a great carnivore ice cream because it's just the raw dairy, which I like. My wife really likes it. Throw in some cinnamon in there, and it is absolutely delicious. Oh, I don't think I'll ever get used to that instant coffee like that. That is really, really something that's bitter. Yeah, that's right. Yeast is part of the alcohol production, so you do have to have the yeast in there to make it. Oh, that's because Carnivore Helix, he's in the long form or whatever. The other form, he's watching on the phone version. If you look at the live stream, I have two different versions on there. After the live stream title, you'll see a phone on the one that has the where Bride's Biscuit is. So that's why you're not seeing Bride's Biscuit's comments, because that's where he's at. Last I checked, raw milk was only legal for sale in about half the U.S. states. That is correct. Back when pasteurization came out, there was a use for it, and it did help, but it's not there anymore. We don't need it as much with all the safeties that are put in place. Dr. Kiltz raves about carnivore ice cream. Yes, he does. And you don't need the sugar in it. You don't need to add a sweetener to it. So my wife is type 2 diabetic, and I make the ice cream for her quite often. In fact, I've got a couple quarts of raw heavy cream right now waiting to be made into ice cream for her. Dustin loves his instant coffee. That's what this is. This is the Nescafe, and this is bitter as heck. And I am not used to a bitter coffee. Now I don't use any sweeteners. I don't use any creams in this. I don't put MCT oil or butter in this here. I just make black coffee. I did give up my coffees to try to get rid of my tinnitus, the ringing in my ears. And it's about 95% better. When I do have the ring in my ear, it's not as loud as it was before either. So that makes a huge difference for me. Oh, okay. You can see you can hop back on the other way. I'm down to 16 ounces of coffee a day, hoping to be off coffee by the end of next year. Yeah, Uncle Willie, it's made a difference for me. I didn't connect the two together when I first started doing the carnivore diet. Right after I came off of all 5 of my blood pressure medications, I was watching a video with Laura Spath where she was going over the effects of the different drinks that you could have on carnivore and what they did for your body and for your diet. And she went over the sports drinks and stuff like that, the Gatorades and everything, and how much sugar was all in that, and coffee, and when you mix stuff into it, but also what coffee has in it and what it does for your body. And then she went on with alcohol and explained what it does for your body and what it does to your body, so that it inhibits your healing, which made sense to me. So I gave up drinking coffee and drinking alcohol on the same day. A few months later, I noticed that the ringing in my ears had gone away, and I didn't attribute it to giving up coffee and alcohol. Well, this summer I started drinking coffee again, and the ringing in my ears came back. So that was about 7 weeks ago. I can't remember now exactly. I gave up drinking coffee again, and I miss coffee. I like the flavor of coffee. Not this though. I don't really care for this. And I asked Larry what he was drinking, because he was drinking instant coffee. So I kind of wanted to try it. It's not that expensive, so I don't mind giving it a try. This Nescafe is just not that good. I wouldn't buy it again. You make homemade whipped cream for the kids' birthday cakes. Don't use confection sugar, and they don't miss it. No, you don't need to. I mean, you can have really good stuff made from raw products, or even even if it's not raw, but you can make your own without the sugars and stuff, and a lot of them won't even miss it. Hey, good morning, Aaron. How are you doing today? It's nice to see you here. Oh, you're on your PC? You guess you click the mobile link. There are two streams. Yep, there are two streams. One has the little phone by it, and the other one doesn't. So it makes a difference on how you view it. We actually went skating late yesterday, so we got the last hour, 10 minutes in of the skate time. So it was actually pretty fun. The temperature here is supposed to warm up today to a decent temperature. We're supposed to actually hit right at the freezing mark, 32 degrees for our high temperature. And I plan on going out and doing an outdoor skate downtown with the grandkids. So it'll be kind of fun to go out there and skate with them and let them skate around outside, and hopefully in the fresh air, wear them out a little bit more. Good morning. They're hoping to wean dairy very soon. Not going to mark a date and get yourself disappointed. When I want to do something, I know now since turning carnivore, I can just do it. That kind of just do it is easier now. Yes, it is. And I have the same type of mentality at Carnivore Helix. When I make up my mind to do something, I can do it. And it's just the way it is. It's a good thing to have for a lot of people. Alcohol is a neurotoxin, basically poison, absolutely. Coffee has some benefits, likely not good for me personally. I've been drinking daily for over 50 years. And I can't say 50 years, I've been drinking daily probably since my late teens, so 40-some years. Aaron, not doing too bad today, and you start eating fast today. That is awesome. So, and you started it with just the water sardines, correct? Sardines and water, and you're adding your own seasonings to it, if I remember right. And you don't miss any of the sweets, Carnivore Helix. And Christmas is a hard time for the sweets. I know growing up in a Norwegian family, going up to great grandma's and stuff like that when I was a youngster, she had a table. Grandma and great grandma both had tables full of Norwegian treats for the holidays, rosettes, and you name the kind of, everything you can imagine. There was so much, and it was all full of sugar, and I can't believe any of it was ever good for us, but good job giving up coffee and alcohol. Have to do an experiment to get results. And, well, it wasn't really really hard for me to do. I don't have problems giving up stuff like that. And that's probably what made jumping into the carnivore diet for me so easy, is I can make up my mind to do something like that, and I can just jump in and do it. But with like these morning meetings and the stuff that we do with Larry and Carnivore Quest and with Dr. Kiltz and Dustin and stuff, where people talk in the lives like this here, I'm also very good at learning from others' issues that they've had. So I learn not to do certain things, and it helps me out tremendously doing these live streams and doing these videos with people. The grill should arrive tomorrow. That is awesome. I still say you should set that sucker up. If it's nice out, get that thing set up. I would have a place shoveled out and just ready to go to keep that out there, do the burning, and I'd throw on a pork butt or some ribs, get some ribs cooked on that. Awesome. All right, now you're hanging with cool kids. And Aaron says, good morning to Bryce Biscuit. Going to be 65 in Louisville on Christmas. Man, not even close to that here. But this year, for what we're going to have, Christmas Day looks like we're going to be about 20 degrees, which mostly I'm pretty used to being right around 20 below zero. We used to do that all the time right here. Go out on Christmas Day and go ice skating. 20 below zero. You could only be out there for a few minutes at a time. It's just crazy. Not the right, Aaron. Bryce Vista says I'm used to dairy in my coffee. My grandmother gave it to me since I was 7. Haven't been able to switch to black even with multiple tries. I missed it one day only due to ER admission. Yeah, coffee it's a way of life for a lot of people. And Carnivore Helix still addicted to Diet Dr. Pepper and have been since 18. There's no cure for that addiction. You have tried. Dr. Pepper is not one of the drinks that I ever really enjoyed that much. Limiting coffee to under 30 ounces a day for the sardine challenge. Splash of cream, no diet soda. That's good, Aaron. Even Dr. Boz says you can have coffee on the sardine fast. So that's not a bad to have. Splash of cream. Yeah. If you're drinking this instant coffee, I don't blame you one bit because this stuff is bitter and I suppose that cream would really knock that out of there. But you could try mixing in butter instead of cream. John, good morning, John. Sharing experience, strength, and hope one day at a time. Absolutely. And that's the best thing to do is to share your experience, your strength, and your hope, and others will catch it. You want to try to reduce in 2026, maybe go off. You'd like to go off it eventually. I did give up alcohol. That likely helped put your fatty liver in remission, along with 0 carbs. Yeah, and that's the fatty liver disease. My doctor never diagnosed me with it, but I can tell you if you've seen pictures of me before, the fat that I had was visceral fat. Mine was all under the muscle and inside of my belly. I can feel it. I could always tighten up my stomach muscles, and within a few millimeters from my skin, I could feel my muscles. I never had the adipose tissue fat. So as I lost the visceral fat, I don't have that excess skin that a lot of people end up having with us here. And it's actually pretty different for me. I'm pretty sure my fatty liver has been healed tremendously. I've lost 134 pounds now since my heaviest. 122 pounds on carnivore. That's a big difference. And Carnivore Helix and Bryce Biscuit are saying hi to John. Pork rib, shoulder, and chops. Absolutely delicious. Pork ribs, pork shoulder, chops, and pork steaks. Pork steaks are fabulous. Where did I have that? Right there. There you go. That was an absolute beautiful pork steak. And that comes from the pork shoulder. That's what this here bone is. That's part of the pork shoulder. I just don't have a bone saw to cut them things out, so I'll have to smoke mine. Oh, let's see. For everyone else not on carnivore thinking we are in the weird, nothing has made so much more sense. And that's true. Everything is, when you start eating this way, things just start clicking and things start going right. John saying good morning to Bryce Biscuit, Carnivore Helix. Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm healed Helix against all odds. Nothing anyone can say to me to touch that. I protect my healing at all costs, and it's easy to dismiss the noise. It is. Once you've done this diet and you've healed, it is so nice. And I don't care what anybody says. You see some of these people like on X or on YouTube or any other social media, and they're just bashing the carnivore way of eating that it's going to hurt you. No, it's not. I personally have healed my body so much. There's no way that they're going to convince me that this way of eating is bad. Yeah, Dustin loves it. I don't understand. You drink your coffee like Captain Janeway on Star Trek Voyager. Is there coffee in that nebula? Correct. Oh, I forgot about Captain Janeway. I enjoyed the Voyager series. You mix a little Dr. Pepper, like less than a quarter of a glass, then fill with sparkling water, some taste, carbonation, just less soda. The sweetener that they use in the diet drinks, they still use a tremendous amount of that sweetener. I've experimented just a little bit, and I've tried it a couple of times. The different cans of this is the Liquid Death. They have, is it the monk fruit extract that they use? Or guave? No, I don't remember that, but they use a different sweetener in it. And it does have like 4 grams of carbs or 2 grams or whatever it is in the little cans. But I've tried it a couple times, and their Dr. Pepper, it's got a different taste to it. It's not a Dr. Peppery taste. It's Dr. Death, I think is what they call it. But it's supposed to be their Dr. Pepper. But it's a better sweetener than the sucralose or the sweeteners that they're using in the diet stuff from the main manufacturers. I don't care for any of those. My wife still likes to, she just started doing it again where she would get a Diet Pepsi or a Diet Coke in a bottle, and the 20-ounce bottle will last her a week. She'll just take a little bit and try it. But mixing it down with water is not a bad thing to do. Down to 206 today to start your challenge. Congratulations, Aaron. Isn't that's your low weight right there, right? You fluctuate from that, or was it 209 that you were starting out at before? I know you're like me, you fluctuate that few pounds, so that is actually really good to see that you're down to 206. The sonographer would be alarmed when she saw the size of your liver. It was scary. Your doctor said there's a value or measurement that my liver dropped down below to show you no longer have a fatty liver. I've never had mine checked. So you make bad decisions when focused on weight loss. Yeah, and I don't focus on my weight loss. I'm focused on still healing. I know my body still has a lot to heal. My hand right here is still got a little bit left to go, and it keeps getting better, so I know I'm still healing. You like beef and lamb shanks too? Not sure if there's a pork version, maybe a ham hock. That'd be about right. Mental health healing brought me to a different level that I haven't had in decades. You do not want to get triggered. Yes. Mental health issues are a tremendous benefit. I'm trying to get my wife weaned off of some of her medications that she takes, and she's hesitant to do it, but I'm sure she can. She just needs to have confidence and faith in what she's doing. Earl Grey hot. Picard does not know what he's missing, Helix. Yes. But that Earl Grey is actually a good tea. I will say that. I'm going for a walk. All right. Glad to be on a walk with you there, Carnivore Helix. I'll be doing that here on ice here shortly. So allulose is supposed to be a better sugar alternative. It's a rare sugar from figs or dates. We believe zero carb cannot be digested and activates GLP-1. There are several types of allulose, rice biscuit. I can tell you from experience that the RX allulose brand that Dr. Bickman is involved in, my wife has used that and I have used it. I have zero response to it, and my wife has zero response to it. We have another brand because the RX sugar, the allulose, is currently sold out, and we haven't been able to get it. My wife and I, we bought another brand of allulose, and we both have a response to it within half an hour of having it. We both saw our CGMs go up from using it. So not all allulose is the same. If you're going to use allulose, you should experiment and see which ones do not give you a response. Yeah, you were floating at 209 to 213 for a while. Now you're down to 206, which is absolutely great, Aaron. You're going to hit that 200-pound mark and get down low and see that one soon. Yeah, who knows, tomorrow it could be 220. That's exactly how it happens to me too. So you can't get frustrated because your body does fluctuate. You'll hear all the Seco bros talk about calories in, calories out. Water doesn't have calorie, but water has weight. Yeah. If you hold on to a gallon of water in your body, you're going to be up over 8 pounds. Water, just plain water, fresh water, is 8.3 pounds per gallon. I used to have to deal with this here a lot when I was in the oil field, so I know exactly what water weighs. I know what happens when you add salt to it. You add salt to it, and you can weight up water to over 10 pounds a gallon by adding salt. It's pretty simple to do. We used to do it all the time. But salt water, you can gain weight just by retaining water. That's a lot of what the water weight that people talk about losing is. It's just salt water that you can urinate out. If you've been on carnivore or keto for any length of time, I doubt there is any concern about fatty liver. That's true. As long as you're not eating excess carbs, you shouldn't have any issues with fatty liver anymore if you've been on carnivore for a while. You actually like Earl Grey. Bergamot root, I believe, nice flavor, but oxalates. So no for you now. You still have kidney stones. I'm lucky I've never had anything like that. Knocking on wood. Carnivore Helix, you like allulose. The allulose isn't bad. I have made the Kiltz ice cream with the allulose for my wife. And they also have the flavored pouches of allulose for RX sugar. So I took their, which one was it? The orange flavor? Is it orange? And I mixed that with her stuff to make an orange dreamsicle. And that turned out really well. Dr. Bickman has done extensive research on allulose. It seems to reduce insulin resistance and blood sugars. That is correct. And I can speak specifically on the RX allulose that Dr. Bickman is part of. It does, when I've had it, it has reduced my glucose levels. So, if I'm sitting at 90 and I have something that has the RX sugar in it, even just the flavored packet, I would lose a couple of points off of my CGM when I did that. So the RX allulose is actually not bad. We talked about allulose brands. The 3 I've tried moved my glucose 10 points on the CGM. And the only one I can speak for sure on with helping my wife and myself is the RX allulose or RX sugar. The other one that we have right now, it does spike my wife's blood sugars. I didn't try that one. I don't currently have CGM on. So, yeah, it doesn't look like Larry is going to be there today, Aaron. I was looking at that earlier and I saw the live had been removed for today. So, I wish him well. I miss him. It's just not right without seeing Larry in the day and his laughter. You like to make your water taste saltyish? So you do the Soleil water. You ate carbs a lot one weekend. And I kid you not, my weight loss stalled and stayed up for 12 weeks. Yeah, that's terrible. You've been off brand. You have an off brand, not RX Allulose. Had zero response to it. That's good, John. Everybody reacts differently to the sugars, and even the sweeteners that they use in the diet drinks. Sometimes they'll affect my wife, and sometimes they won't. I can't remember what brand it was, because my wife would use one, and it would just shoot her blood sugar up, just like it would sugar. But when she had the other one, it didn't do anything to it. What did I mix there? You like allulose? The problem is, so does my brain pleasure center. Yes, because it is a sweetener and it does kick in that part of the brain. You failed over 2 years on keto, mostly because of addiction. I was buying all those almond flours and chickpea lentil pastas. Well, some of them actually aren't too bad for you. You have to look at how they're being made. In fruit or the grains, there are issues with them. People do have problems with chickpea and lentils, almond flours. Some of them aren't the best quality. Sardines, another win. Making moves to improve front office. Oh, Sabres. I read sardines. You know where my mind's at, right? Larry put out a message last night he would try to go on Monday instead. Yeah, it's been a couple days since Larry's been alive. I know it's got to be rough on him if he's not going to be into the meetings. You did a diet Pepsi experiment during a fast, lowered your blood glucose 10 points. That's one way to do it. If you've cut out all carbohydrates, cut out everything that could possibly spike your glucose, and you tried that and went down, it's not a bad deal. It's a valuable lesson for you. You will not eat carbs at all now. Maybe in a year or two, you'll revisit. Yeah. Some people, according to Sean Baker, may experience a reaction to allulose through activation of a sympathetic nerve system. That makes sense. But when we use one allulose compared to another and we have a reaction to one and not the other, I think that's just the way it's made, because there are different ways to make the allulose. They come from different plants, and so it all makes a difference. It came down to the carbs and the pasta replacements. Not so much just because they are from plants. Typical servings would be 30 plus carbs. I wonder what they're adding to it. Because I know, like chickpea and lentils, they don't have a whole lot of carbs in them, but they are a plant. So there are different varieties, and there are some out there that have a whole, they have a higher fiber content too. So if you're going to have plant-based anything, you need to have the fiber with it too. So maybe they needed more fiber added to what they were in. Let's see. Plus, they use net carb calculations, but many doctors in a space say is misleading based on science. I never agreed with the net carb concept. When my wife was first diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, the doctor never discussed stuff like that. It wasn't until she was pregnant with our son that she had to take daily shots. And when she was pregnant with our son, taking those shots, that is one of the things that they were instructing her to do, is how to figure out how much insulin to take based on what she was eating. So you have the carbohydrates and the fibers and blah, blah, blah. Well, she would call me from her work when she ate and ask, how much do I take? And based on what she was eating, I'd figure it out in my head and tell her what to do. And the first 7 months of her pregnancy, she actually didn't gain any weight. She lost weight in her pregnancy. She was a little overweight at the time, so her doctor wasn't concerned about it. And come the 8th and 9th month, she gained a little bit of weight, but it wasn't much. And her doctor was actually really happy with her progress and how she did that. But it kind of went with the net carb calculation and insulin addition. I don't really care for it. Not when you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to do stuff like this here. It just doesn't work that well. You think they up the protein and fiber? It's a possibility. Add a little extra protein in there. There are different ways to add protein into it. But it's not, you don't think it manages carb load entirely. Probably helps some, but who knows? I think what helps the carb load is having a proper fat load, animal fat, along with the fiber. The protein added to it, it's a plant protein, so it's not doing what it should be doing if it was a animal protein. And the CGMs could tell us something. I don't have mine. You didn't have yours under keto, just the test strips for ketones. Right. And that's, having the test strips only does so much on it too. It's hard to tell what's really going on with that. I don't know. But there are a lot of different things with the pastas. The pasta is made from grains. Of course, they've got the gluten and all that stuff in it, which is not good for you. The pasta is made from like a vegetable source, like the chickpeas and the lentils. They have their own phytochemicals that do the body harm. Are they any better for you than the wheat durum pastas? Well, it depends upon if you have an adverse reaction to the gluten. I can tell you that when you eat a pasta made that has a gluten in it, after eating it, you feel that your stomach expand and you feel that fullness from the pasta. That's the gluten expanding. When you eat a chickpea or lentil pasta, it doesn't have the gluten, so you don't get that expansion. So that in itself has got to be doing something for your body. It's got to help somehow. I do have some experience with this stuff as far as knowledge on what it does to the body, because I've used it before. I've used it quite a bit, actually. The fatty meat cracked the code for our dietary requirement to thrive as a species. That is true. We learned to use carbs as an alternative energy source to supplement. Good for famines, but not for thriving. You are 100% correct there, Rice Biscuit. as a species, we're able to eat many different things, plants and carbohydrates and stuff like that. We're able to eat that in case of starvation. So our bodies can survive until we get to a meat that our bodies thrive on. And just having the ability to survive off of a root or leaves or a fruit makes a huge difference for us as a species. But the ultimate place that our bodies need to be is eating a meat-based diet, eating that fat. Gluten and fiber made your IBS, IBD, diverticulitis, and colitis worse. Also, my acid reflux, all in remission are carnivore. I did not have IBS or IBD. Diverticulitis and acid reflux for me were absolutely terrible. I actually ended up in the hospital having surgery because of my diverticulitis and a medication that I took that I had a bad reaction to, and diverticulitis was really bad for me at one point. So yeah, for me, for the diverticulitis, any seed, like if I ate sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds or peanuts, anything like that, I had a really bad reaction. Shellfish, shrimp, lobster, crab legs, anything that had a shell, I could not eat, or I would be in really bad pain. And that was not something I really wanted. Carnivore Helix, you'll hop in later. We'll see you in a little while. It's the same as what Brian Bissett said. Dr. Chady talks about how our skulls shrank and dental health declined after agricultural revolution based on anthropological studies. Absolutely. And you can actually see that where you can compare the skulls from way back, and that's exactly what it shows. Once we started eating plants more, our health has gone down. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Dr. Chafee, new video about adding fermented foods and yogurts back in. Dr. Chafee, I haven't seen that. I'm gonna have to go find that because that's one of the things that he has not been for a long time. I wonder what's changed his mind on that. Actually, I don't have an issue with that, John, as long as it's done sparingly. It's not something that's done every day, and I think they'll be all right. I've gotten to the point where I myself, I'm looking at adding in different things once in a while. Like on Thanksgiving when my daughter made deviled eggs and she added Wickles pickles to the top. And so I had a little bit of those. I didn't have a reaction to it. Sparingly. It's not something I'm going to eat every day, but once in a while. Just like, because, it's fall time of the year, that's when these should be available to us. So I think adding them back in on occasion isn't a bad thing if your body can handle it. I know I still have more healing for my body to do, so I'm not going to be adding this in for a long time or a whole bunch of it, but I'm going to add some of it back in once in a great while. That's why biology and anthropology is so much more valid than nutrition science, because nutrition science is bought and paid for by those who are funding it. So they'll get the results that they want. Where biology and anthropology, it is what it is. You take an x-ray of a skull from somebody who lived before agriculture and they have zero cavities, their skulls are bigger and their bones are more dense. You go 1,000 years into agriculture and then you see the difference. You see the rotting teeth and the smaller skull and the thinner bone structure. Okay, Aaron's asking, did you consider the start of your sardine fast when you last ate or when you had your first sardine? I followed Dr. Baz's advice on that, and I did it for my first can of sardines. So I had my first can of sardines at 5 a.m. Tuesday morning, and that's when I started my sardine fast. So that's where I went with that. Dr. Chafee is carnivore advocate and accepts that some plants that are tolerated can be okay. I've never seen him talk about adding implants intentionally unless there is a specific reason. You will look for that video though, yeah. I have to look for it because I gotta see what that one is. The algorithm is pushing raw lion diet in your feeds. I actually haven't seen that very often. I've only seen a couple of people doing raw foods, and Dr. Kiltz was one of them that he'll eat his raw once in a while. Just slice it right off there and eat it. Maybe in January, maybe towards the end of the month, I was thinking about doing it again. Just another 72-hour fast, doing that just to see how I feel about it, doing it a second time. But I do plan on doing another sardine fast. It wasn't bad. I actually enjoyed it, and I just gotta choose a better variety of sardines. I actually went out yesterday and I bought some more sardines because I wanted to try a different variety. I've been using Beach Cliff, and was it Wild Planet that's in that blue box? I wanted to try those. They're more expensive, but they're a bigger sardine. The Beach Cliff box or sardines come at 3.75 ounces per can, and the Wild Planet was 4.4 ounces. So there's a little bit more, but you can see the difference in the size of them. So it was actually pretty cool to see the difference. And then I added my own mustard into them and my own hot sauce. But they do have one that's in oil. I didn't look at what oil was in, and I don't remember. So, but I did notice that like the Walmart brand, the Great Value, their sardines in water. It says on the label sardines in water, but if you read the ingredients, it's sardines, water, and soy oil. How can they put it as the sardine in water if they add soy oil to it? I don't understand that. There's a young biologist that pushes raw meat, not Eddie, can't remember the name. Max German? I'm not sure who it would be. Beach Cliff and water, very inexpensive and clean. Yeah. And the nice thing about the Beach Cliff one for me is our local dollar stores have that cheap. The local grocery store here has those and they're expensive. They're like $2 a can, but the dollar store is $1. So it's not a bad thing. And yeah, the Wild Planet does look like it's a better quality, but the head and the tail are cut off. I don't mind eating the head and the tail and the sardine because it's already cooked. So you're spending about $1.15 a can. It can get pricey, yes. You can buy sardines that are really expensive, like $5 a can or $6 a can. I try to do it as inexpensively as I could when I was doing that, and that's the ones I bought. I got them on Amazon, and they were $1.14 a can for the case that I bought. So, and it kept me from having to go to stores because I still don't like going to stores, especially not this time of year. Having it delivered home was great, and stay away from the Great Value. Yeah, I don't. After reading that, I don't really trust them that much. John, you're doing a 48-hour sardine challenge with Grandma that ends at midnight tonight. but I'm going to go for 5 days. I usually do 72 hours a week. Anyways, yep. Now, I knew Grandma was doing a fast. I didn't know she was doing a sardine fast. Or are you just doing the sardine fasting with what she's doing? Not sure you can trust commercial olive oil anymore. Not buying the single source organic expeller pressed Evo. Yep. I don't really trust anything that's in oil anymore. Oh, not Max Sherman, by the way. Yeah, I like Max Sherman too. He's got some. I like his style. You see the bacon grease? That's my fat when I need it. And I got the red container that sits on my stove that bacon grease goes into, and we just keep refilling it with the bacon grease that we make. You bought a container of whole food organic mustard and just add that for extra flavor. Yeah, and I use my Frank's Red Hot because the original Frank's Red Hot, I put that stuff on everything. You're at 42 hours right now for your fast rice biscuit. Yep. Yes, the inexpensive olive oil has seed oils in it. They only have to have so much of the olive oil in there to be considered olive oil. That's just crazy. Yeah, okay. So Barbara's doing a water fast. You're reversing hepatic insulin resistance. So your mentor says for you not to do any more water fasts. Well, that's what they're telling you to do. I'm not going to argue with that. Right. There's so many of these there are so many different things in these here. It's just amazing that they can consider something to be organic, or they can consider something to be a specific oil when they have so many other ingredients into it. They should be required to put it that it's a blend in there. Yeah, when you have so many ingredients, you can't really control what you're putting in there. So when I first started doing the carnivore diet and I was buying my primal cuts of the rib roast and the strip loin and doing the briskets and stuff like that, I trimmed some of the fat off of those to begin with, some of the hard stuff on the very bottoms. And when I got my meat grinder, I ground that all up and I made my own tallow. So, I guess you can't call it tallow because it's not from the suet. It's just rendered fat. And that's what I cook with. I've got four full quart bottles of rendered fat for beef fat. And then I just keep adding the bacon grease back into my bacon grease jar. And I'm not running out of any of it. You're trying to heal from stroke, coronary artery disease, heart failure, might try raw lion at some point. I don't know, listening to Dr. Kiltz, eating the raw meats is actually easier on your stomach and helps your body a little more. So I would do it. If you can handle eating the raw meat, have it chilled, not quite frozen, so it's easier to eat and stuff, I would do it. I don't understand what this one here is, but your liver is constantly pumping glucose into your system. There's a stress response, cortisol response. Even Element had that dust up as their supplier misrepresented an ingredient, maltodextrin or dextrose. So it's maltodextrin. And with the nice thing about the maltodextrin, I can't say it's nice. The way that you tell what it is for maltodextrin, if a drink has it in there, if it's a clear drink, you can add a drop or two of iodine in it. Just a couple drops of this here into the maltodextrin or into the drink. If it turns purple, it's got maltodextrin. If it blends in and turns clear again, then it does not have maltodextrin. So I did this experiment this summer with the Element lemonade, and the single serving packets that I got from Walmart did not have the maltodextrin in it. I didn't have the single serve packet from a box I got from Element, but I tried it with another one. I think it was a citrus, and the citrus did show maltodextrin in it. So it turned purple, but the lemonade did not. He said, worth a try. Mitchell, guy Carnivore, is recovering from a stroke. Although he is just using Carnivore, not raw. Correct. Mitch has had some really good results from his stroke on Carnivore, and so it does work. Mitch is kind of a cranky old cuss. I don't mind watching him either. But holy cow, hour and 26 minutes running into this here. What is going on out here right now? Ooh, that temperature is coming up outside. We are now at 9 degrees outside. Beautiful day out there right now. Oh, Mitch is going out without his walker now. He's just using a cane. That's actually really good. When you first saw Mitch coming back from his stroke, he was struggling just even walking with his walker. So if he's using a cane now, that's absolutely amazing. Yeah, balmy 9 degrees. But the nice thing is the wind is barely moving. It's 4 mile an hour wind. So the wind chill isn't even something to worry about right now. And it's only going to get warmer out here. Mitch wants to go to Costco and just lean on a cart. Yep, that's one way to do it. Oh, and John says, don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. I don't ever mention that on here. I always forget about it myself. Shorts and t-shirt weather. It's pretty darn close, Aaron. I broke out my winter jacket twice now this year, and that's only with temperatures below zero with wind chills 35, 36 below zero that I've worn my winter jacket. Otherwise, I'm still using my spring jacket, fall jacket, and then I have a vest I wear underneath it, and that's been plenty enough for me. And of course, it is a heated vest, so that makes even I can wear that same jacket when it's 20 below outside, and it still feels pretty warm if I have that heated vest on high. Just don't want to be out there for too long. Ooh. And that actually sits on a wireless charge pad that I can use for my phone, but it's a heater for that cup also. So it keeps that coffee at about 130 degrees. So that's not bad. People in New York City still dress in t-shirts and shorts, but it's not nice. That's funny. I have a coworker. Doesn't matter what time of year or what the weather conditions are outside. He wears blue jean shorts outside of work. At work, he wears our uniform pants, but coming to and from work or going out to like hockey games or to our company parties and stuff, it can be 20 below zero and he's wearing blue jean shorts. That's just what he does. It's funny as hell. There are some people that are just like that. My daughter commented yesterday when we were out, and we both laughed. Yep, nice. You started research and training to walk the Appalachian Trail. Are you down in that area, John? That's actually pretty good. The Appalachian Trail is a pretty nice area. I guess a really cool fall foliage down there. The beautiful leaf colors when that turns. I was down there 1 year in the fall. Just absolutely beautiful. All right. Well, John, I was trained to through hike the Appalachian Trail back in the 80s. That's when was I? It was in the late 90s or early 2000s. I was down in there just for a few days. It wasn't very long at all. You never did it. We did a ton of hiking, mountaineering, and rock climbing back then. Well, you live in Ohio, want to do the whole trail. It's like 2,100 miles. That's a long trek right there. It's going to take a while to do that. Do it in spots. 1,900 miles, you believe, from Springfield, Mountain, Georgia to all the way up in Maine. Wow. Yeah, across 3 seasons. You'd have to. There's one season I wouldn't want to do it in. That's pretty cool. Well, I am going to head out now. You guys have a great day. Thank you for stopping in and chatting. I'll be back here next week, same time. Saturdays, Sundays at 10 a.m. Central, and we'll be doing this live stream. Y'all have a great day. Take care, and we'll see you in the chats.